Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do your January the 3rd spiritual principle a day in a meditation. How are you doing this morning? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't know what what to say. It's not like I'm not going through anything. I am, but I'm just excited to be able to share, this recovery life with you guys. So let's look at it. It is entitled Coming to Accept Ourselves. Coming to Accept Ourselves. Sounds good. Let's see what it has for us. Our sponsor's acceptance and our higher powers' unconditional love made it possible for us to judge ourselves less harshly. That comes from It Works, step 12. I don't ever remember reading that sentence in that book, which means absolutely nothing. I haven't read it through in years, right? That's that hardcover, or I think they have paperback too, but it's the green and gold book, not the step working guide, you guys. It's the It Works one, how and why, okay? Step 12. No one comes to NA on a winning streak. Denial had helped us ignore the wreckage, but those days are long gone. Our minds no longer reassure us. You're living the dream, especially considering the lousy hand you've been dealt. In early recovery, we may experience rare glimpses of self-acceptance, but the mental beatings we give ourselves keep that optimism in check. We are undoubtedly our hardest critic. That's especially true when we make mistakes, not showing up for a friend in need, unintentionally making another member uncomfortable, blowing off a commitment, using again. Even for members in long-term recovery, our disease continues, to urge us to judge ourselves. Not being real about our mistakes and overindulging in self-pity or self-destructiveness runs counter to accepting ourselves as works in progress. One member recalled, through his steady encouragement in the face of my self-made disasters, my sponsor showed me unconditional love and helped me to be open to how a higher power was expressing it in my life. As my recovery continued, the chaos lessened, but the temptation to beat myself up remained. Sharing the exact nature of my wrongs in step 5 and still being accepted unconditionally helped me unclench my fist a little quicker. Sponsors tell us the truth about ourselves. Inevitably, the truth is more loving, forgiving, and accepting than our version of things. Working the steps with our sponsor teaches us to find that truth for ourselves. Through the practice of prayer and meditation, we can check in with a higher power to guide us toward what is real about ourselves, our decisions, our mistakes, rather than relying on what our mind tells us. I'll resist the urge to beat myself up today. Instead, I'll pick up the phone and call my sponsor. I'll take a moment with my higher power and get real. How beautiful is that? I like that. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the serenity prayer and the 3rd step prayer. Serenity prayer now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery, and show me how to live. Please and thank you. Yeah, that was a bit awkward, but it's okay. You know what I meant, right? Okay, let's get into this. Let's talk about coming to accept ourselves, because I think what happens is that old timers, this may not be true, So if you're old timer, don't get offended, but this is what I have seen. And this is kind of what I wrestle with on a day-to-day basis. And this sharing of the meditation helps to keep me grounded, doing service work 3 times a week, hosting or chairing meetings for NA, and doing sponsorship helps me stay grounded. But this is what I see sometimes. Old timers have a tendency to be swept away with money, property, and prestige. Not only that, but in the Living Clean book, it talks about our health. We end up aging and recovering, having a number of health issues. And the book has not been written on how to deal with growing old, right? There's been some attempts, but it's hard to figure that piece out, right? We still have to grow old. We still have to face some serious decisions in recovery. And so I think sometimes what happens is that old timers, we come into the program and people see the things that we've attained. And a lot of times when I go to a meeting, I'm not really there to share. I'm there because I need to be in the atmosphere of recovery, right? I'm trying to keep that door open and still remember where I came from. I'm not necessarily there to share, right? And so what happens sometimes is that we're not talking about our first step. We're not talking about how we got clean and when we came into the program. And the newer people are thinking, yeah, well, I think I need to do what she did. I'm gonna go get me a college education, get a few degrees, and everything is gonna be blase, blase, right? No, no, that's not how it really is. We still wrestle with that self-negative talk. We still wrestle with, am I worthy? We still wrestle with self-esteem things. We still wrestle with how to communicate hard things to people that we love, that we sponsor, without them cussing us out. And we still wrestle with those things. It's not like, I don't know, man, there's probably some sponsors that get pleasure out of just being so cut and dry and blunt and don't care how they impact their sponsor. I'm sure there's those that are narcissists that don't care, right? But I'm not like that. And I believe the majority are not like that. And so we wrestle with phrasing things and how to put things, and it doesn't go away. And the newcomer doesn't see that struggle. They don't hear us talk about that. And so when they come up against the fact that they're clean and they're still dealing with depression, they're clean and they still have mental health issues, they're clean and they still have procrastination and don't know how to show up on the job on time, they're still getting fired from jobs because of how they display themselves, their behaviors on the job, they steal from the job and they wonder why they've been fired. Yeah, it's a process. It is a process, but we don't get to say, you know, I'm doing such a good job with what, the cards that I've been dealt, and it is like a work in progress, and I'll get to it when I get to it. No, we actually need to be doing the work and getting to it. I do. I do. You know how aggravated I get when I do my 10th step and realize, you still got hours on the clock. This person is still awake. You could still call and try to clean your mess up that you made with them today, You can make prompt amends here, or you can procrastinate and wait till you see them again and see how awkward the relationship has become because you decide to be very, blunt about what you needed to say to them. You still got time to make this right, or at least let them know that you hurt their feelings, and you'll work next time to try to say things a little bit more palatably, right? I'm like, what? Oh, I don't want to do it, right? That I just want to say to you, it's all right. Turn the butt kicking machine off and get in where you fit in. Roll your sleeves up and let's do life together. We're all working on the same thing, one day at a time. One day at a time. Some things do change, staying clean, working with a sponsor that is loving you unconditionally. But it didn't take you a night's time. Like you didn't get to your level of, I'll say your level, the depth of your disease actively using overnight. And this idea that I'm gonna get clean and boom, bada bang, everything's just great now, all pistons are firing. Yeah, you might have some days where you nail it, 100%, you nail it. But there's gonna be those days, I guarantee you, where we don't nail it. The only nail we're talking about is the one that we feel that we just put in our own coffin, right? Right? I mean, if we're being honest here, we're talking about living life. And I can pretty much tell you what I'm going to do every day. And even that changes. So if that's going to change, I can't tell you what the next person is bringing to my table at all. And when I step out of this door, matter of fact, I don't even have to step out of the door. When I wake up, my mind is like, recovery, thank you, God, right? And I can hear little footsteps headed my way. For some reason, these kids, as soon as I wake up, they know I'm awake. And they want to be in my arms. They want to hug. They want to sit down and have that morning coffee with me and talk about whatever is going on in their little hearts, right? So, I mean, I make plans, but I can't plan the results because I'm involved with other people, right? And what they're going to do, I can't tell you what they're going to do. But I can tell you, I'm going to try to react in a loving manner. And I don't do that all the time. Do you? Yeah. So coming to accept ourselves is about, oh man, this is so deep. Coming to accept ourselves is about being able to love ourselves as we are, but also to love ourselves enough to know that we're in the process of change constantly, and to make space and room for us to be able to do that without all of the harsh judgment self-judgment that we place on ourselves. Because when we do that, the moment I go into self-judgment, you should have did this, you could have done that, why'd you do that, right? Now you got to do this, right? The minute I go into that self-nagging, that automatic negative thought, the moment I get into that, I feel life energy leave me. And that's just not what we're trying to do. Not when we're talking about recovery. Our sponsor's acceptance and our higher power's unconditional love paves the way for me to join them on that journey of loving myself. Oh man, that was deep for me. I don't even know where that came from. I'll have to listen to the podcast later to get it back, because that came from the piece of me that yearns for intimacy with my higher power, and my higher power through prayer and meditation giving me answers. And so just like I laid it out there, I too now am understanding I need to make more space for myself. It's not just going to the chiropractor. It's not just getting massages. It's not just making sure my nails look nice, or it's not just the outward appearance and then the inside is foul. It's not just all that. Those are signs that I'm doing some self-care things, but self-love is something that goes to my core. And it says, you know what? I love you just the way you are. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that, but let's not dwell on that to the point where you get depressed about it. But let's be more mindful the next time we open our mouths, okay? That's my spirit talking to me, right? That self-love is what I want for you today. Can you please excuse the blips in here? Because I just don't feel that re-recording over a few blips is going to allow me to be organic in the next taping of this. So I'm not going to do that. Can you please just excuse that? And today, as I make room for myself, I want for you to make room for yourself. And I want for you to accept yourself. And I want for you, if you can, I love it when I say leave me some comments down below. But if you can really, today, if you're listening and in a position to leave a comment down below, give me 3 things. They don't have to be long-winded, or they can be. I don't care. Give me 3 things that you are going to embark on today that will be evidence of your self-acceptance, your self-care, your self-love. Okay? My name is MightyStream, and I've enjoyed, I've so enjoyed, I don't even want to leave you guys. I have totally enjoyed spending this time with you today. I want for you to have a beautiful day on purpose. And if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. They might try to add to your day, but at the end of the day, having a beautiful day on purpose is intentional. It's a set mind that you have to have. Nobody else can give that to you. So I want that for you today, okay? Promise me. Promise me. You're going to do that today, and we're going to come back and do our meditation again tomorrow. If there's someone you know that is suffering, they're like missing meetings and stuff like that, just send them the link. You know, I don't care what people think anymore, because I know what I'm doing is a part of God's will for me, right? So just send them a link and let them make the decision about whether or not they want to listen, right? Give me a thumbs up, like, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so that you can make sure that you're getting this as soon as I post it, okay? All right, you guys take care and talk to you soon.